You can.
Why is that microphone better than mine?
Cuts. It's input 1.
Got it.
All right, you're good.
Just so that we are normalized once again, if you can hear me, clap once. All right, I think that's all it took. Well, one of the benefits of being a pastor is you get to take your mask off. So it's good to see half of your faces, at least. And I'm glad that you all came and that we're together somewhat this morning. And it's good to be with you in person and as opposed to virtually, which I really appreciate the fact that you've watched our services and have participated that way. Thank you so much for your patience with us, and I'm glad to have the opportunity now to thank Wendy and Eric for the incredible job that they've done, and a number of you have said that as well, that they've done with editing. Yeah. So we're going to have a bit of an abbreviated service, and I'm glad we have wonderful weather this morning. Part of our service in a moment, I'm going to ask if anybody would like to, and the incentive is you can take your mask off. If you can come up to this mic in just a couple of minutes and give us an update about what you've been doing. Many of us haven't seen each other since March, so it'd be great to hear just, if you got a mundane story, you built something, you went somewhere, you saw somebody you haven't seen in a while, whatever you want to share, please come and tell us. Give us an update. Give us some news. We're all hungry for it. We've all missed each other, so it'd be great to at least hear a little bit of what's been going on. So don't think you've got nothing to share, because probably most of us don't either. But it'd be good to hear something from you, see your face, hear your voice. So just in a couple of minutes, be thinking about something that you want to share with us, because we'll all want to hear it and be glad to hear it. We're also going to do very abbreviated singing today. We're going to have communion later, and I'm going to share some scripture and some thoughts. We'll have celebrations, concerns, and prayer. So if you have celebrations and concerns to share, save those for a little bit later in the service. But we do want to hear your news and your updates and how your family's doing, how you're doing, whatever it is you want to share. Please come up in just a couple of minutes. So welcome to this strange but real time that we're together, and I'm so glad to see each one of you, and I'm so thankful again to Eric and Wendy for hosting and for all the preparation and work that went in. If you need, there's the porta potty right behind that bush there, discreetly hidden, even color coordinated to blend in with the bush. So if you need to sneak away, there it is. I've already used it, so it's very clean.
Well, not anymore.
Well, no, I cleaned it after I used it. Yeah. All right, I'm going to ask Wendy to lead us in an opening song.
So I'm sure that you all know all of the science that goes behind whether or not we can sing or not, and how far apart we're supposed to be when we sing. So my singing that I planned for today really is just a short little verse right now and a short verse at the end. This is not the time to sing at the top of your lungs. Let's just have a nice soft togetherness as we sing. So we're gonna do Lord Prepare Me, and I'm not sure if you know the words, but they're really easy. So if you could just repeat after me for the words first, and then we'll sing it together. Ready? My turn. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary.
Pure and holy, tried and true.
Pure and holy, tried and true.
With thanksgiving, I'll be a living
With thanksgiving, I'll be living
sanctuary for you.
sanctuary for you.
Raise your hand if you've heard us do this one before and you know it. Yay, good. So I will hear some sound coming out. Awesome. Ready? So here we go. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for can see there's also a hand sanitizer and hospital grade wipes up here. So if you do,
That spot's clean.
if you do decide to come up
Yeah.
and speak, this mic is not quite as powerful as that one, but if you want to try to keep your hands off of the microphone and just come up and talk, and then I'm just gonna run over and go like this real quick when you're done. Feel free to use the hand sanitizer as well, and we're gonna just try to be as safe as we possibly can. Okay?
All right, so please come up and get us updated with what your news is. So somebody needs to start us off. All right.
Oh man, she just cut you off.
This is the queue line.
It is.
The queue line. Remember me, I'm Sally. And I've missed everybody so very much. And I can't thank everyone involved in those virtual services. If I could, I'd give you hugs and kisses and boops, as my kids would do. I sat in front of the computer and cried most of the time for the virtual services. And then when I saw you come back to the sanctuary, I smiled so much my face hurt. Anyway, we're doing well. Our family's good. And I just miss everybody. Do I have to wipe this off myself?
No.
This is not something you'd normally do with a microphone.
Well, hello everybody. Carol and Dennis Naylor. We're just happy to be here. This is incredible place you have here, and it's God's country, right?
Yeah, right.
So, and I already told Reverend Rose this. I have to admit, I've been doing an awful lot of golfing during this COVID era, and I'm not ashamed of it. I actually love to golf. So, Carol, you want to talk about our outings on the deck? We've been using our deck more than we've ever used our deck before.
Yes, it's been very nice. It's a nice large deck Dennis built about 28 years ago.
Still standing.
And so we've been able to have a few people at a time and had tables spread apart. So that's been nice that we haven't been just alone.
I had 6-foot marks put down tonight.
But we've been fine, and we've seen Dad Naylor quite a bit, and safely taking him some meals, and seems to be doing well and keeping busy.
Right. The other big thing we've been doing, like I think a lot of people, it seems like home improvements is the thing. My younger brother Danny is interested in getting his house sold, and he has a bunch of projects for us. So myself, my brother David, my dad, he's been the supervisor, and then Derek, I can't say enough about that guy. He knows how to do everything. So if you need a cell phone number, I got it. You can use Derek. But thank you so much, and it's a strange era, but we're getting through it, and that's the important thing.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, I've been around a long time, so I think everybody knows I'm Betty Kinsman. Probably most of you are aware by now that I'm moving next month. I'm going to Albuquerque to be near my daughter. My apartment's a mess. I'm trying to sort things and file things. Jill's been a big help. And she's been taking a lot of my leftover material. But it's going to be very hard to leave this church. I've been a member for 53 years, I guess. And I will miss them very much. I appreciate everything that has been done and over the years. And the church is just so important to me. Hopefully I'll be back to see everybody.
We love you and we're gonna miss you, but we're not gonna be that far away. We're not that far.
Okay.
We'll be close by.
we've been over at the lake most of the summer, Donlin, Ricky, and I. Today or this weekend we have Lisbeth and Tim and their 2 new kids up visiting. So Donlin and Ricky wanted to stay there. Lisbeth and Tim, who are getting actually closer to retirement than anything else, decided they needed to adopt 2 kids who were in need of a place to live. So they are in the process of adopting a brother and sister, a boy Anthony who is 8 and a girl Kaylee who is 6, and they have to stay with them. They have custody of the kids right now. They have to stay with them for 6 months before they can go before the judge and make it formal as far as being their adopted parents. These 2 kids have been bounced around their whole life from foster home to foster home. The best count we have is that they have been to at least 14 different foster homes in their short lives. And not together, they've been in different places. And they have often been in a foster home where there have been other foster kids. So there's a lot of, probably shouldn't even use the word, but there's probably a lot of baggage that they carry. They have many issues. There are health issues in terms of things that have been, just nobody taken care of where they have stayed. So they've been making rounds to dentists and doctors and to get everything checked and taken care of as much as possible. And obviously there are some attitude adjustments that have to be made because they are not used to much discipline. Their day has been sitting in front of a TV and looking at that as a babysitting tool in many cases. So power to Lisbeth and Tim for doing that, and wish them all the best. It certainly is going to be a difficult chore, and Donlin and I, of course, we become involved in it also as grandparents. But it's certainly an exciting journey for all of us. We can all use prayers.
Yes.
Who's next?
Whoa. Come on, get up. Off we go.
Hold on a sec.
Lincoln, you're walking.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, when everything shut down in March, I decided to stay home with these guys. Few things changed a little. Lincoln is now a little mobile, as you can see. Keeps me on my toes. In April, little ahead of schedule, Miss Ginny decided to make an appearance 5 weeks ahead. And now she gets to hang out with Grandma days because Mom's going back to work. So, I'm not disappointed at that. Mom and Dad are a little worried about going back to work, but I'm not. Lincoln adores having her there. Right, Link? Yeah. He loves being able to push all the buttons on her swing. We're all doing really good. We've missed everybody. It's been a stressful time. It was wonderful being home as a family. It was nice having Keith home for a while. I'm sure you all had the good and the bad of everybody being home together. But we were blessed, we were lucky, everybody stayed healthy. Our Ginny, again, came early and was a bit of a surprise, but was healthy. Chelsea was healthy and made it through. Alex made it through without passing out. We were very proud of him, big boy. And it was hard not having family to support, but he did wonderful. I think that's our updates. Alyssa's kind of going through some changes. Right now she's home helping out with the kids, looking at what her future is going to be and maybe some changes. Meta is going to have a baby in February. We're looking at having a little boy and praying that everything is good. Right now he looks healthy, and so we are blessed with that. Brooke is doing well. Hayden's doing well. Looking forward to the new school year and whatever that brings, however that may be. Half at home, half at school. Brooke goes to Amy downstairs at the church, and she really enjoys it. Good place to be. Amy's doing a wonderful job with the kids, so there's a shout out for Amy's Sunshine Center. Yeah? Yeah. Anything else? Lincoln, you got anything to add to this? Say, watch out world, I'm coming. You gotta find my mask. Where'd it go?
Yes, that's baby right here.
Yeah, where's your mask? Put it back on.
I changed the mic leads, yeah.
You
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
The sound of the cleaning of the microphone.
Sound of cleanliness.
I just wanted to say how nice it is to see everyone and how wonderful your presences have been in our house over this time. I think this community is so good at building community and keeping community alive that it happened from a distance, and it's kind of magical to see just from the services themselves, seeing people's beautiful faces, hearing the lovely music, everybody pitching in. And then also when Rich has different meetings with different people from the church, just the sound of people's laughter and the connection happening across a distance is pretty remarkable to see. So you've been such a lovely part of our house during this time and made it feel so much more like I could imagine it feeling when we're just in the house by ourselves. So thanks so much. It's been great to hear your voices and your laughter.
So the best silver lining ever of the all this time was that Haley and I were able to volunteer at the baby bank once a week, because it worked around all of the virtual schedules and everything else, and it was a wonderfully rewarding experience and a reminder of why we have it being there like over and over again. We had done it here and there, but not regularly, so it was a really nice silver lining to it. Other than that, we've camped, luckily, on our own property, so we don't have to worry about strangers or masks or rules or anything like that. We have our own rules, yes. And we have been, over the course of this time, we have built a large shed or a small garage, depending on which way you'd like to look at it, and a miniature shed for the generator that matches it. And this week Scott took the week off and had Haley as an assistant and got it painted. So we're down to kind of the finishing touches on it, so we should be all set for closing things up when it starts to not be so beautiful. We've survived. I think we're sort of ready to go back. Haley's really ready, and she's ready to go back to dance class. They do have had dance class with a mask on, which is a little bit extra sweaty.
Yeah, it's a little hard, but we make it work with one like 5-minute break in the middle. And it's really nice. Just go outside and take your mask off, have some water,
and I think I'm ready for kindergarten. It's kind of like throw everything new, you know. Not teaching in a normal way and a new grade level and moving my room and the building under construction, and like classrooms are in different places in the building, so I'm gonna like walk down the hall and head one way to go to the library, forgetting that the library's now this way. So we'll survive, but I'm glad that they gave us 2 extra days to be ready for it. So well, we've been doing all right. We've stayed healthy, family stayed healthy, so that's good.
I've been really thankful that Market Street's been open, as it's a good opportunity for me to see my friends when we can't be together like inside, but we can still be together outside. And yeah.
It just goes against everything.
I'm cringing on the inside. 6 months of walking like this.
Right? Exactly. So other than 6 months of walking like that, oops, sorry, mohawk, we're doing really well. We've enjoyed a lot of family time at home. Some of you may know we were supposed to be in Germany right now, so that got postponed by a year. We were supposed to be there for 6 months, so we're hoping in a year that this will be cleared up enough that we can go, but it's hard to know at this point. The quarantine school was really hard, but John and I are lucky enough that we were able to be home over the summer with the kids anyway, and so, you know, we've done a lot of outdoor stuff, not actually as much as we normally would, because having everybody home all the time has been really tricky for getting anything done, as all of you know. So, and we're already back to work, and these guys going back to school, we're hoping that everything will be okay. So we're just, yes, and Nathan has a mohawk that he got this morning, so he's very excited about it. And oh, you're gonna throw yourself backwards. Okay. And yep. And this is the sort of thing that we've been doing for the last 6 months. So there you go. Yeah, do you have anything you need to share? No? Okay. Great. Well, it's definitely a beautiful day for this. I'm glad to be here. Mommy and Daddy need a night out. Come on, buddy. We gotta let somebody else have a turn. Oh. He's still laughing. He's made of rubber. That's the one good thing here. Come on, bud.
You missed the rock.
Right. I got it. You got it?
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
You want to drop those boys off here so you and John can have some time off? You go ahead.
We can put them out with a goat.
Oh.
The fence is electrified. It's fine. It's safe. It's fine. They are nice. They're awesome.
I've done a lot of work around my house. New storm windows in my apartment upstairs. I've worked at the baby bank 1 day a week, which has got me out from staying home and being bored. Jill's a great person to work with. And I've spent time with my grandson and my daughter and my son-in-law, and their health has improved, so I thank the Lord for that. A lot of cleaning, a lot of throwing things away that we don't need, so, and I've helped my daughter clean her basement and do some things, so, and I'll be going back to work here in a day or two for Bernie Transportation. And I've listened to the sermons virtually at the church, and I've enjoyed that, Pastor Rose.
Oh, I got this. I get it.
Good evening.
hear that sound, and you leave, there's like a song getting stuck in your head, right?
I want to say thank you to that lovely cloud giving us some shade and cool, right? I guess I just assumed everybody knew everything about us because you
This is
see
where
us
our
like
house
every
is.
Sunday, but we live in a barn.
We live in a barn.
And we moved in January, so we're still trying to figure out where everything goes and haven't had as much time to work on it as we would like because our children take up a lot of time and I had to work and help them with school and all of that stuff. So I am excited about the new school year. I'm glad that it's different. I'm glad I get to be in the building and send Nessa to a babysitter because trying to work while your children are home,
It's like brushing your teeth and eating Oreos.
it's like cleaning. It's like
Same
cleaning
time.
when my children are home.
Yeah.
But Jenny's going into high school.
Ugh.
Can you believe it?
Ugh.
She's going to be in high school this year.
Ugh.
Kids are still dancing. We danced at the end of the spring and had a recital in July, virtual recital, and then they'll be starting up in October again. And Liam is going to be in 5th grade at Winfield, and Lyra is a 1st grader at Winfield. And in one more year, Nessa will go to kindergarten, and I won't have to pay for childcare anymore. One more year.
One more year. We can do it.
We can do it.
Yeah.
And I'm teaching at the middle school, just like regular. So
Where you're at right now, the barn actually used to be all the way out here, and like in the 50s, I think there was a fire, so part of it had burned. But when Rich is up here, I just want you all to know that's where the manure would go and get shoveled off the end. But, so there were 2 of them, those little chutes. Jenny thinks that's her little patio out there, but I'm like, well, there's a reason why your bedroom is sloped on the inside. So anyway, but we just want to say it's nice to see everybody, and we know Kathy's not here, but because she's visiting with friends that they couldn't go see at a wedding a little bit ago, so she was able to get out. But both Kathy and Wendy kind of keeping stuff going. All I have to do is hit record. We are not going to release the outtakes from all the virtual services, but there are stories that we will tell. The one I will tell you is that the virtual stuff, when we were splicing everything together and then we would get it uploaded by 10 o'clock the next day, that occurs in the office, which is on the other end near where that satellite dish is there. And we got a little confident in our ability. Well, I got a little confident in our ability to do the service like at the last second. You know, we're like, okay, well, it's Saturday at 8 o'clock in the evening. We'll get things started. Well, the last time we chanced it, it was about, we started recording all of the hymns and the gospel stuff. We got it all ready to go. And then you put it in the computer and you splice everything together. So the virtual choirs all line up and stuff. Well, by the time I started getting ready to splice everything, it was about 11:30 at night. And we're like, that's okay. We're professionals. We can do this. And I hit the play button, and there was no sound because everything was muted that we had done the last 2 hours. And but it all worked out, you know. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we were done by 2 a.m.
Yeah, it was fine. And we could sleep in because we knew what was going to happen in church the next day.
enjoyed seeing the cat.
Right? Yeah, they are inside, yes, right now and stuff. And our children popping in every once in a while. But yeah. So welcome. And at some point, you know, in the future, maybe next year, whatever, I will finish the pool. And Rich was really excited about yelling cannonball and jumping in, but I'm like, don't do it today. It's not safe. Yeah.
So next picnic, bring your bathing suits, and yeah, we'll baptize people or something, right? Awesome. Anybody else? Speak now, or Rich is going to talk.
You'll never get a chance.
Well, thanks for sharing. It's so good to hear from so many of you, and I'm sure we'll hear some more once we get to eating. And I'm the first to say I'm far more interested in watching Lincoln walk around so well than anything else. So I won't take it personally if you're watching him, because he's pretty inspiring to watch. He's doing a great job walking around and navigating this terrain. Something that has been really sustaining and helpful to me over this time has been the realization with so many of you, either personally or collectively, of how much of a family our church is and how close we are. And despite the separation and despite the fact that we could easily give ourselves over to frustration or despair, we have done an amazing job of keeping in touch with each other, keeping connected the best we can, keeping the church financially supported, keeping the baby bank staffed with volunteers. It's really amazing to me, and such an example of hope and possibility of what people can do despite very, very difficult times. So I hope that you, like me, feel very inspired by how tight-knit of a community we are and how much we care about each other, about how much we care about the church and doing God's work. Every one of us contributing in one way or another. And I personally have been so deeply inspired and kind of just held together in many ways by how much and how strong and how caring this community is. So it's been, as hard as it's been and difficult as it's been to not see you and not be with you, it's been inspiring to know that we're all still there and our family is strong and our family is growing and our family has continued to be hopeful despite everything. I wanted to just share with you a little bit of scripture from Paul's letter to the Romans, which is the epistle lectionary reading for today. I thought it was relevant on a number of levels, as the lectionary continues to seem to be. It always seems to have a word that we need to hear just when we need to hear it, even though it was put together a century and a half ago, or rather, 1,500 years ago, long time. So, from Romans chapter 13, owe no one anything except to love one another. For the one who loves another has fulfilled the law. The commandments, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not covet, and any other commandments are summed up in this word: love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no wrong to a neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. Besides this, you know what time it is, and how it is now the moment for you to wake from sleep. For salvation is nearer to us now than when we became believers. The night is far gone, the day is near. Let us lay aside the works of darkness and put on the armor of light. Let us live honorably as in the day, not reveling in drunkenness or debauchery or licentiousness, not in quarreling and jealousy. Instead, put on the Lord Jesus Christ and make no provision for the flesh to gratify its desires. Paul often uses that phrase, the flesh, not to talk about our pragmatic lives, but rather he uses it as a metaphor for that which is passing away. So not to get involved in things that are destructive or temporary, or something that won't last, to put our energies into that, but rather to put them into things that are far longer lasting, like our relationships with each other and with God, to the well-being of each other and our society as a whole. It struck me reading this passage as many times as I've read it, there's always something new to come across. And every time that the phrase love your neighbor, which we've heard probably many of us our whole lives, is uttered, it's curious, it's interesting, it's compelling that it's not quantified or clarified. It doesn't say your neighbors are this group but not that group. Your neighbor is this one, but certainly not that one. Your neighbor is those that agree with you, not the ones that disagree with you. It's open-ended. It's left in many ways to us to understand that our neighbor is everyone, without exception. Everyone, period. And that's a hard thing to swallow. It's a hard thing to understand, and it's certainly a hard thing to practice. That everyone is our neighbor. The people that disagree with us, the people that vehemently disagree with us, the people that we feel hate us and disregard and disrespect us, whether that's the person next door or the person half a world away. Sometimes our supposed dislike and hatred of others has been fomented by political voices that have encouraged us and given us a reason to hate others. And that's a time for us to listen to the words of Paul and make no provision for the flesh, to understand that everyone is a child of God, and even though we're told to dislike a certain group or despise a certain group or not trust a certain group, God invites us to a higher plane than we have found, to a different place. And that's very, very difficult to do. It's hard to like people who don't like us. It's hard to like people who, for whatever reason, can't see the light that we have seen, can't know the truth that we have known. You know what I'm talking about. The people who are just plain wrong. The people who look at us and say, you're just plain wrong. How do we like and love those people? How do we move past our disagreements to see them as human beings who want to be loved, who want to belong, who want to participate just like we do? And perhaps have found avenues to that belonging and that participation through anger and through hatred and through dismissal. I think we all are wanting so badly to be a part of something that sometimes we compromise in ways that really harm us, that are what Paul calls making provision for the flesh. At the end of the day, it seems that God wants us to love everyone as if they were our neighbor in need, and to be able to receive help as if we are a neighbor in need ourselves. Sometimes, of course, it's easier to give than to receive help. Sometimes we don't want to admit that we have needs ourselves, that we don't have it all figured out, that we lack what we absolutely need, and we're dependent on others to give it to us. So in these incredibly difficult times where we have a lot of time to look at the news, look at social media, get really angry, sitting at home in our chairs, feeling like the world would just be a more sensible and more loving place if people would just listen to us and listen to the way that we have figured it out. Nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's how we use the fact that we're right, the fact that we know and we understand, that matters the most. How do we treat each other? Whether they're sitting next to us in the same room, standing with us in line at the store, sitting in front of us in traffic, a coworker, whether we see virtually or personally, a person who has a different color skin, who sees God and the world differently than we do, lives next door or across the world. How do we treat these folks? God tells us how to treat them. The hard part is doing it. But God, as I've said many times, never says, have a nice time with all that, good luck. I'll be back here watching. No, God is right in the mix with us. God is never absent. God never says, you got to do it all on your own. I think the life of Jesus is an example of someone who lived a very, very difficult, trying, and tragic in many ways life. No one would listen to his message of love and inclusion. But God's final answer to the life of Jesus was the yes of resurrection. And God was there even as Jesus deeply suffered. Jesus couldn't see him and said, my God, why have you forsaken me? And maybe you've said that. I know I have. Sometimes I think it's important for us to say that so that we can be reminded by God that, yes, I'm here. You may feel abandoned and alone, but I'm here. So, dear friends, I hope you take that as comfort and hope and courage to know that you're never alone. You're never expected to do the hard work of loving your neighbor without God's help. And I hope that you constantly and continually seek God's help to do the hard work of loving those that seemingly are unlovable. Loving yourself, as hard as that is sometimes, and I speak from personal experience. Our community, once again, I can't emphasize this enough, has done such a fantastic job of loving each other, of loving the community at large through so many ways, namely mostly through the baby bank, but in so many other ways, caring for each other. Take hope and strength and courage from your love for each other. Know that you are not alone in your acts of grace and mercy and love. And I was so humbled by the wonderful sermons and the wonderful services that have taken place over the past few weeks in my absence. It just goes to show you what an incredible community we truly are. Whether it's Gary, who is with us in spirit every week and has left us blessed so much by his many years with us, or Keith or Cindy or Wendy blessing us with their words, their wisdom, and their insights. Just a small sampling. Any of you could get up and share with us something inspiring, something hopeful. And that keeps me going. And I hope it keeps each of you going. May God bless us and love us and open our hands and our hearts and our spirits to love others as our neighbors, as we love ourselves. Amen. If you have celebrations or concerns, I would love if you would come up and share those with us. One note, some of you may know Father Lou Brown. He just passed away fairly recently. Yeah, he was a wonderful, wonderful person. The first community service I did at Christ Episcopal Church, we do those Good Friday services, and the first one I did a few years ago, he made a point of walking around with me and introducing to me to everybody he could, proudly saying, "This is the new Baptist pastor." And some Catholic priests are very open, very welcoming, very affirming of other understandings of God. Others not so much. But Father Lou made it very, very apparent to me and everybody else that he was proud to introduce me to the community as the new Baptist pastor in Painted Post. And he was a good friend. And we had a lot of really great discussions during our clergy lunches. And I know he touched a lot of lives and was a wonderful person. And so we will continue to pray for all those people who miss him and love him and dependent on him week to week to uplift them and hold them in faith and in love. So please come and share any other celebrations or concerns that you have to share with us.
My son's father-in-law, they took him to the ER last night. He's having some heart issues, so I just wanted to ask some prayers for Dan Schaubert. Thank you.
I just want to say hello.
So I just want to ask for prayers for everybody involved in all the different aspects of schooling, from administrators making extremely difficult decisions and getting all of the really negative side of everything, right down to teachers making new paths of trying to teach things in new ways, students not having school look like it used to, and families at home trying to help and be supportive. So I think from the top to the bottom, everybody involved in school could certainly use some prayers as we get things kicked off and hopefully are able to stay.
I just continue to ask for prayers for our government, that they can come together, find each other, and speak about peace and caring for our nation and for the people of the United States. What's happening, I just don't understand. I think we need all the prayers we can get.
Okay, let us pray. Loving God, thank you for this beautiful space that we're in, for the serenity and the peace that we are each experiencing now. And if our hearts are in turmoil and we feel sad or alone or struggling with something, please bring your peace to us. Please touch each one of us with your love and your care and your tenderness. This morning we lift up to you teachers and students, administrators and families, all those involved in getting back to school and getting school running again. Bus drivers and bus monitors, people working in whatever capacity to get students fed and taken care of, school nurses, everyone who is anxious and concerned about whether or not this will all be able to be pulled off. Please be with each one of them in this community, in our nation, and throughout the world as millions of students return. Teachers, administrators, staff. Please oversee this and help everyone to conduct themselves with the utmost care and patience and understanding. We think of Dan Schaubert and his heart issues that he's experiencing. We ask that you'll please be with him. All those who are taking care of him, please watch over him each day and help whatever treatments he's receiving to be effective and help him to get back up on his feet as soon as possible. We think of Father Lou and his family, his extended family, church family, all those who are mourning his loss. We're thankful for the many years of service that he has given so many people, for his kind heart, his care, his service in the Navy, all that he gave in so many ways. Please take good care of him and watch over him each day. We ask for peace and care and wisdom to reign supreme within our government, regardless of party or stance on issues, especially as we're gearing up for this season of election. Please do whatever you can to help dialogue to be civil, for exchanges of opinions and ideas to be done so with respect and care for each other, recognizing that relationships and people are more important than ideas and rhetoric. Help bridges to be mended and relationships to be restored. Loving God, we ask that you will walk with us and guide us each day of this continuing pandemic, that you will help all those who are in service in one way or another, taking care of us in the healthcare field, in the service industry, that you will give them strength and courage. Help all of those who are sick to recover in whatever way they possibly can as soon as they can. And please be with those who have mourned the loss of the thousands who have died. Please bring them hope and peace in the days to come. Loving God, unite our voices now as we raise them to you, praying together this prayer which Jesus taught us to pray. As we pray the Lord's Prayer together, saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever.